boop, boop 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 boop.
Hello? Yes. Hello, Mr. Mulder. Thanks for joining me. Would you like to take a seat? That's Agent Fox Mulder, FBI. Well, yes. About that. It's not true. We know it's not true. I know you lost your job with the FBI, and now you're working here for me as a landscape gardener. Look, it's just like an undercover gig, man. I'm not doing this job seriously. Oh, good. Well, I assume you won't be too bothered when I say that we're letting you go. You're letting me go? What possible reason could you have for letting me go? You know, well, there's a lot of factors, but I mean, when it comes down to it, we just don't really think you seem to fit in here. Is this about the aliens? Well, if I'm being completely honest, it might be a little bit something to do with the aliens. I can't possibly be the only person this keeps happening to. And oddly enough, that would appear to be the case. You can't possibly say they're not real. The evidence is all around you, man. Open your eyes. Wake up, sheeple. Yes, well, look, I'm not going to sit here and argue that they're not real, because that will go on all night, like it has done. But you must admit, it is quite counterproductive. Well, that may be, but I am saving the world. You need to look at this from a business standpoint, Mr. Mulder. I send Kevin off to trim old Mrs. Peterson's geraniums, and he's back within the hour. And I send you're missing for 48 hours, and the geraniums aren't even trimmed. I mean, to use Mrs. Peterson's words, disemboweled, which is a concept that I can't even comprehend for geraniums. Yeah, well, old Miss Peterson's a real bitch. I'm not done yet. There was also 6 holes dug in the garden, filled with your own feces, the same feces, all over your overalls. What the hell happened to you? If you really must know. Yes, legally I really must. Well, I was trimming old Mrs. Peterson's precious geraniums when I noticed lots of small square footprints all over her yard. This could only mean one thing: the Blue Corps. Most commonly known for their tendency to break into people's properties and steal their turtleneck sweaters. They do this because on their planet they don't have access to cotton, and they hate the way their necks look. Using my expert analysis, I was able to determine that where the footprints were was probably where the Blue Corps had been walking to the house. This is where I lay my traps. Do you know what the Blue Corps' weakness is? I do not know, but given I know the end of the story, I'm going to assume it's probably shit. Human shit. Wrong. Chinese food, which luckily for me, I'd eaten lots of the night before. And quite quickly, might I add, so it's largely undigested. Once my shitful traps were in place, all there was left to do was wait. I waited for so long, I started to doubt myself. But then I doubted myself with doubting myself, because I was right. Those bouncing bundles of Homo erectus had bounced their way across the yard. All 3 of them stupid enough to follow my shitful traps, leaving them paralysed for long enough for me to put them in a sack and throw them in the lake. Crisis averted. The nation's turtlenecks are safe, thanks to me. Yet again. Yes, thanks for that, I suppose. Good job. Just a couple of questions. Why did you put the excrement over your own overalls? Those holes were hard to shit in. I lost my balance. Yep, that makes sense, actually. Clears that right up, doesn't it? Question number 2, though. What about the job you was actually sent there to do, the geraniums? I don't know. Although I did use some flora to wipe my ass. Might have been one of them. Well, this is exactly what I was talking about, Mr. Mulder. It seems like you show a complete disregard to the clients and, frankly, the job that you were sent there to do. Well, that seems unreasonable. What about the time you sent me on the mission to capture the Globulords? We didn't. We don't send people on alien hunting missions. We're a landscape gardening company. The one on Hall Road. Do you mean the job we sent you on to plant conifers in Doug Walker's garden? Yeah. Then ended up saving the world from the Globulord invasion. Alright then. Start from the top. As I was preparing the soil, I had a loud buzzing hitting straight towards my ear. I managed to capture what I now know as a Globulord in a sealed jar so I could take it to a lab. You're already leaving. You just got there. I wasn't off the premises for long. All I had to do was drop the sealed jar off to my scientist pal Jamal so he could run some tests. Then went back to the garden and finished off the conifers. Well, I was expecting a lot worse. That's okay. When I returned to the lab, Jamal informed me the Globulord had escaped. Yep, of course there's more. Of course there's more. Concerned with what it was, I go back to the old man's yard to see if there's any more. As I'm searching, Jamal approaches, so I hide and wait to see what he does. He takes a clipping of one of the old man's flowers and leaves, so I follow him. He's acting very odd. His limbs are bouncing around as if moving on their own, like a mannequin or a drunken child. He leads me back to a garden centre. I wait until he's gone so I can start poking around. But as I do, more people emerge, all acting like Jamal. They overpower me, pin me to the ground, hold me there. As they do, loads of clobulars come out of bushes and are flying towards me. They're about to go into my ears when suddenly my phone goes off. They all back away. I don't know why. Maybe it's something about the vibration fucking with their senses. So I get up an epic dance playlist on my phone and scare them all away. Then I play it up to the infected people's ears and the bugs seem to leave. After calling for an ambulance to attend to those sick people, me and Jamal started looking into what these things' plans might have been. The only thing they seemed they were doing was getting these people to grow plants, a special sort of plant we hadn't really seen a lot of, but we had seen in their old man's garden. There must be something about this plant's pollen that these bugs need to survive. So we go to the old man's yard to destroy these flowers. Excuse me, you did what? I know, it's crazy, but it gets better. While we're smashing the old man's flowers in, thousands of them appear from underneath the ground. There must be some sort of nest under his garden or something. We're playing our epic dance playlist through Spotify, but it's not enough. There's too many. Jamal gets taken over. He smashes my phone and his own phone. So now I'm phoneless. So I make a mad dash for the old man's house. I smash his window, break in and nick his stereo. This is loud enough to stun them all long enough for me to put them in a sack and chuck them in a lake. World saved. But before we go, we make sure to smash all of his flowers in, just in case one survived. That was you? He hired us to clean that up. He thought a group of teenagers broke into his property and had a party. That is awful. Absolutely awful. Awful? I saved the world. I mean, world saving aside, you did a bad job with the landscape gardening, which is kind of the main focus here at Tom's Landscape Gardening. If we were ever to branch out to Tom's saving the world from Globulords? Clobulords. Sorry, Clobulords. If we were ever to branch out to Tom saving the world from Clobulords, then you would be first in line. But until that day, I can't see any reason to keep you. You should eat these peaches. No thanks. I have lunch soon. Could you open this can? I don't get what's going on here. This is really odd. I'm trying to fire you, and you want me to open a can of peaches. Are you... Oh, I just got what's going on here. You think I'm an alien in disguise, and this is some sort of trick to prove that I'm actually an alien, right? Oh, that's it, isn't it? These Clobulords, they can't go near syrup. That's it, isn't it? That doesn't make any sense. Clobulords have bad limb control, so they could grip a peach properly. It keeps slipping out of their hands. Look, Fox, this is the problem I've seen in you time and time again. Anytime something happens in your life that you're not ready to deal with, you just start blaming everything else, blaming aliens, blaming monsters, whatever. But the problem never goes away. It's always there. It's always in your subconscious. I can see it in your eyes. It's looming over your head like a dark cloud. It's tackling these problems that makes us grow as people. It makes us better, makes us ready to face the next day. We can't just turn to fantasy every time. Oh, I miss my wife. I know you do. Have you spoke to her since he ascended? This might come as a shock to you, but she didn't really ascend to Omicron Percy. I hate to become the queen. Oh, really? She only ascended as far as Kevin's house. Oh no, buddy. Let it all out. Let out all that delicious, delicious sadness. Boop 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 boop.